So we're going to explore just a couple of different ways, the same words, different cultures. Okay, number 9, draw equal. There's a debate in the room, okay? So why, a couple people said Sephardic, and then people went, no, Ashkenazi. Why Ashkenazi? Why do you know that? Why you were so quick to put down the Sephardics over this? A minor key? Okay. Good, great. That's correct. That's who wrote the words, but the melody is an Ashkenazi melody, right? Because the words didn't just remain in one culture. So I think you're right, the minor key.
The rhythm.
The rhythm and the key, right? It's not exclusive, but we start to develop these different soundtracks because our Sephardic brothers and sisters, while they certainly experienced oppression, had a very different experience in life where they were, right? This was not Germany and France and Austria and other places like that. So the melodies tend to have more major keys in them. More, hey, life isn't all that bad, you know, as opposed to more the Ashkenazi melodies, the minor key. Oh, give out, I made it through another day. I'm kind of hoping life will continue this way, right? So you can kind of hear it in the soundtrack, the life experience. It's embedded in the music, right? So same words. Where are we there?
That's minor also.
It's minor also?
Just the rhythm.
Good. Okay, so the rhythm is different. Doesn't mean the key. Doesn't mean the key. That's good. I did that intentionally so you wouldn't think, oh, it's just the key. No. The key, it may be a minor key, but the rhythm changed. Right? It carried a different message to it. I'm Sparad, I think Shabbat's very groovy, I'm rejoicing, not worried about getting beat at Pump Street. You come and sing with me, oh what a glorious day. And you can hear the timbres of Spain and of Islamic culture coming through that. So that's also part of that sound. So we go through a lot of different changes, moving up to today. We began formal cantorial singing. We have the birth of Lewandowski and Sulzer, who contribute melodies to us. Right? Let's sing a great one together. We're slowly, I'm sneaking in an evening service over here too. Right? So we just finished the prayer of Ahavat Olam, the love of the world, and we're going to say the prayer of unity, the prayer that we are invited to say with our last breath on this planet. Shema Yisrael Adonai. Sweet the sound, I was blind, but now I can see. And so many people don't necessarily know that's Lewandowski, Reform, you know, 17th, 18th, 19th century. The things we think are from Sinai, maybe now are just a century or a little bit more, a little bit less old, from a whole other culture. That we might say, oh, I don't want to sing that if I knew that was actually the case. So we start to get composers composing for the modern era. We start to get the organ, which was mentioned. Different instruments start to come back. The idea that instead of davening together, I mean, there's a separate thing going on in the Hasidic part of Eastern Europe with the nigun, and everybody has access to lead, right? Not just the prayer leader, but we get the professionalization of the cantorate and of the prayer leaders, where people are now presented. We, the community, witness and observe. We don't necessarily daven. You wouldn't. Well, the cantor was up there, you know, on the bima doing, a high performance piece from Leviathan. You wouldn't start dancing around, singing a harmony and going like, Yashma Yisrael Adonai. You know, you wouldn't start jumping in on the cantor's doing. You'd be thrown out, right? That's like we sit and we receive. So we adopt many of the European customs, whereas on the eastern side, more klezmer is developing, more gypsy-like, of the people, right? In the pit, in the orchestra pit. Come on, everybody jump in and mess around and grab an instrument. So for the first time, we start to get different things at the same time period, different sound scores being written at the same time period and popularizing, including Yiddish music as well. So it wouldn't be appropriate if we didn't at least do one particular piece here from that selection. Sing will singen, lecha dodi. You're supposed to go. Then we go. Sollst du singen, cheery, beery, beam. It's not on your song sheets, because the participatory ones you wouldn't know what the words were until the person was singing it. Sing will singen, Siegal College. So singen, cheery, beery, beam. Lecha dodi, cheery, beery, bum. Siegal College, cheery, beery, beam. Lecha dodi, Siegal College, cheery, beery, 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 bum, cheery, bim. Chiri bum, chiri bim bum bim bum bim bum, chiri bum, chiri bim, chiri bim bum bim bum bim bum, I chiri bim bum 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 bum, I chiri bim bum. It means we're having a great time and we're really alive and we're grateful for whatever we're singing about. And I can say it wasn't just a plug because Brian's here for Siegal College. It was actually, I wanted Hitorari to wake you up, right? That in the singing of that folk tradition that came into the soundtrack, you didn't know what the person was going to say. Was I saying beam or bum? You know, you're not just in your rote thing singing along congregational singing. You're in the moment, responding to what's happening and filling in what's coming, what am I grateful for? That's what I'm going to throw in that particular mix. And notice minor, major keys, starting one rhythm, moving to another piece. It's not even monolithic that way. So that whole vibe gets thrown into the mix. Okay, far be it from us to not end in present time. I don't want to send you out in a time warp and lose you in the Middle Ages. So we're going to move into the contemporary time. So here we have Jewish music in every aspect of Jewish life, traditional a cappella mode, digital, electric to jazz, back to a cappella, Reform and Reconstructionist communities utilizing instruments in contemporary musical writings, conservative congregations to a lesser extent, some do and some don't, Orthodox still don't, but who knows? What will we consider traditional Judaism 20 or 30 years from now? You know, I remember when I was doing a Shabbaton in Massachusetts, I was so excited to go to a Sephardic Orthodox shul on Saturday afternoon to do mincha, because there's a beautiful melody that only happens once a week that most of us never get exposed to. Only on Shabbos afternoon. That's the one time that particular part of the soundtrack happens. So I come in there with my nusach, my carry away with the Jewish people, and I'm singing everything away, you know. And I'm figuring, okay, people aren't really singing along, but maybe they're just taking it in deeply. The service ends and everybody comes up. That was very lovely, Rabbi, we appreciate it. Is that a new melody you're singing? We never heard that before.